This begins CD 2.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. اللهم افتح علينا حكمتك وانشر علينا رحمتك يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. وصلي الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا. So yesterday we looked at the section on Ma'rifatun Nafs, knowledge of the self, and why it was important. And then he talked about the different types of attributes that are in people, the ruminant attribute, the predatory attribute, the demonic and the angelic. And then this section he begins by saying, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, إِذَا شَئْتَ أَن تَعْرِفَ نَفْسَكَ فَاعْلَمْ أَنَّكَ مِنْ شَيْئَيْنِ. If you want to know yourself, know that you're composed of two things. الأول هذا القلب. The first is the heart. والثاني يسمى النفس والروح. And the second is called the nafs or the ruh. والنفس هو القلب الذي تعرفه بعين الباطن. And the nafs is the heart that you know through the inward eye. So the nafs and the heart really are the synonyms for the same thing. وَحَقِيقَتُكَ الْبَاطِنِ. Your reality is the internal reality. لِأَنَّ الْجَسَدَ أَوَّلٌ وَهُوَ الْآخِرُ. Because the body is the first, but the heart is the end. It's the last. وَالنَّفْسُ آخِرٌ وَهُوَ الْأَوَّلُ. And the self is the end, and it is the first, meaning the heart. So the body is the beginning of this world, this experience, but the heart precedes it. And in the end, it's the heart that you take with you into the next world. So the heart is the first and the last in reality. وليس القلب هذه القطعة اللحمية التي في الصدر من الجانب الأيسر. And the heart is not this lump of flesh that's in your breast inclining towards the left side. لأنه يكون في الدواب والموتى. Because this is shared by animals and dead things. وكل شيء تبصره بعين الظاهر فهو من هذا العالم الذي يسمى عالم الشهادة. And everything that you can see with the outward eye is from this world, and this world is called the Alam al-Shahada. So you have Alam al-Ghayb and you have Alam al-Shahada, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that He created both. So everything that you can see, He's saying, is from Alam al-Shahada, the world that's witnessed or experienced. Now, that includes things that we can see through machinery. I mean, you had in the 19th century, you had some of these rationalists who attempted to say, for instance, that the shayateen were microbes and that the unseen was really all of this microscopic world and things that we can't see anymore. So you had a trend among some of the scholars to try to do that. But all of that is part of the mulk. Everything that we can see or even understand through material means. So, modern physics, all of these type of things that enable us to know about subatomic particles, about all of this mulk, which is the dominion here, it's material world. So he says, وَأَمَّا حَقِيقَةَ الْقَلْبِ فَلَيْسَ مِنْ هَذَا الْعَالَمِ. But the reality of the heart, which is consciousness really, what he's talking about is consciousness. And in the West, you have a trend for some time now that has been trying to prove the biochemical foundations of consciousness. They want to prove that consciousness is actually material. This is the idea of mind and matter. And part of the reason they want to do that is because consciousness is a problem. It's a metaphysical problem. I mean, I was at a martial arts studio where one of my sons was taking a class. And I started talking with one of the other parents, and he was a biochemist, PhD from Berkeley. He was teaching biochemistry. And he asked me what I did. I said I taught religion and ethics. And I said I'm on the other side of the coin. And he said, well, maybe less so than you think. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, well, consciousness, we can't really explain that, can we? So he was a biochemist recognizing that problem of consciousness. It's a problem in science. Where does our consciousness come from? How do we know anything? Where does infinity come from? Where does that concept come from? Animals don't have that. Why can we even think of something like infinity? Infinity is not, we don't see it anywhere. We're temporal, we're in the world. But we can come up with concepts like that. That's consciousness. How can we even think about God? Just the idea of being able to contemplate God is an extraordinary thing. One of my favorite quotes is Einstein said, the only incomprehensible thing to me about the universe is its comprehensibility. That is an amazing statement. The only thing incomprehensible to me about the universe is its comprehensibility. How are we able to know the universal law of gravity? I mean, how is the human consciousness capable of something that extraordinary to understand the universal law of gravity? How do we know about strong and weak nuclear forces? How do we know about electromagnetism? How are those concepts even comprehensible to the human intellect? Because the intellect was designed to know them.